Do you know what your most hated One Piece character says about you as a person? Yeah, more than you think. We're going through the most hated characters in the entire series today, starting with the ones that reveal something pretty normal about you and working our way up to the ones that might actually expose something deep. And trust me, by the end of this, you're either going to feel very seen or very uncomfortable. So before we start, drop your most hated character in the comments right now. Don't overthink it. Just type the first name that comes to mind. Let's get into it. If Foxy is your most hated character, you might actually be revealing something kind of funny about yourself. Because Foxy isn't evil, he's just a lot. You value efficiency, purpose, and forward momentum above almost everything else. Foxy's arc felt like a detour in the middle of a journey. The stakes felt low, the plot felt circular, and the payoff felt thin. And if that frustrated you to the point of genuine hatred, you're someone who is deeply goal-oriented. You don't like wasted time. You don't enjoy distractions. When something doesn't serve the larger purpose, you disengage, and then you resent the thing for making you disengage. The problem is that you might miss genuinely fun moments because you're always measuring them against productivity. Not everything needs to advance the plot. Sometimes a detour is just a detour. Be honest. Did you skip the Foxy arc? It's fine. You can say it. Nobody's judging. Okay, maybe a little. If your most hated character is Steri, the entitled king of Goa, or Flampe, the obsessive and manipulative little sister of Katakuri, you're reacting to something very specific: immaturity, ego, and the complete absence of self-awareness. These characters aren't powerful. They're not threatening in a traditional sense, but they carry an arrogance that is completely disconnected from any real ability or achievement. What this says about you: you value growth. You respect people who put in the work. You have very little patience for entitlement, especially when it comes packaged with incompetence. You've probably watched someone be confidently wrong and felt a frustration you couldn't fully articulate. You believe in earning your place, and characters who don't, and don't even know they don't, are uniquely unbearable to you. These next two live in their own special category. If your most hated character is Spandam, the incompetent, cruel, credit-stealing chief of CP9, or Orochi, the manipulative shogun who spent decades destroying Wano while hiding behind schemes and paranoia, then you have a very specific frustration. You hate cowards in positions of power. Spandam and Orochi didn't earn their positions. They gained them through connections, manipulation, and the exploitation of people far more capable than them. And once in power, they used it to protect themselves, not to lead, not to build, not to serve. What this says about you: you believe power is a responsibility, not a reward. You respect people who lead from the front. You lose respect fast for anyone who takes credit without accountability. You probably have very little patience for bad management, bureaucratic incompetence, or people who fail upward. You've watched someone unqualified get ahead and felt that unique, specific frustration that lives rent-free in your brain. You know exactly what that feels like. Arlong Park, the arc that made half of us cry and the other half furious. If Arlong is your most hated character, there's something important going on beneath the surface. You are deeply opposed to discrimination and prejudice in any form. Arlong's entire worldview is built on the idea that fishmen are inherently superior to humans. He doesn't just act on this belief, he evangelizes it. He destroyed an entire village, enslaved a child, and forced that child to draw maps and steal for years just to buy back her people's freedom. And every moment of it was justified in his mind by ideology. That's the part that gets to you. Not just the cruelty, the justification of the cruelty. What this says about you: you're highly sensitive to systems of power and how they can be used to harm people who don't deserve it. You stand up against unfair treatment even when it's uncomfortable. The challenge is that you can become so invested in the ideology of a conflict that you lose sight of the people in front of you. Debates can start to feel like battles, and battles have winners and losers, which isn't always how real life works. Now here's a name that doesn't come up enough, but should: Sugar. The girl from Dressrosa who ate the Hobi Hobi no Mi and spent years turning human beings into toys, erasing them from the memories of everyone who ever loved them. If Sugar is your most hated character, you're tapping into something most people can't even fully articulate. You are terrified of being erased, of being forgotten, of never being seen. Think about what Sugar's power actually does. It doesn't kill people. It does something worse. It removes them. Families forget their fathers. Friends forget their crew. Entire lives of connection and meaning wiped clean. And the victims are still there, still conscious, still watching the people they love look right through them. The twist is that the hunger to be seen can sometimes push people away if it becomes a need for constant validation. The healthiest version of you knows your value even when the room isn't paying attention. But the fact that Sugar's power disturbs you on a deep level, that's actually a sign of emotional intelligence. You understand what connection really means, and you refuse to let it be taken for granted. Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach, is a different kind of hated. If he's your pick, it's not just about what he did, it's about how he did it. You fear chaos, and you despise betrayal. Think about what this man actually pulled off. He manipulated his way through the Whitebeard pirates. He captured Ace, triggering the war that changed everything. He showed up at Marineford at exactly the right moment to steal Whitebeard's power after his death. Every single move was calculated, patient, and completely self-serving. He's not just a villain, he's an opportunist. And opportunists in real life are the most dangerous people in any room. What this says about you: you value loyalty and consistency. You watch people carefully, maybe too carefully. You pick up on small inconsistencies in behavior. When someone's motives feel unclear, you don't relax around them. You've probably been burned by someone who smiled at you while planning something behind your back. And you haven't fully trusted easily since. Genuine question: would you rather fight Blackbeard or trust him? Because fighting him is terrifying. But trusting him? That's a different kind of terrifying. Drop your answer in the comments. St. Charlos. The name alone is enough to raise blood pressure. If this is your most hated character, one thing is immediately clear about you. You have zero tolerance for injustice. Charlos is the purest form of entitlement in One Piece. He's a celestial dragon, someone who was born into power he never earned, never questioned, and never once felt guilty about abusing. He treats human beings as property. He enslaves people for sport. He shoots civilians for the crime of existing near him. And what makes it worse? The world lets him. The system protects him. That's the part that really gets under your skin, isn't it? Because you're not just reacting to Charlos as a character. You're reacting to what he represents. Unchecked privilege, systemic protection of the powerful, the complete absence of accountability. What this says about you: you value fairness deeply. You feel injustice physically. It sits in your chest and doesn't leave. You probably get into arguments you didn't plan on having, simply because you couldn't stay quiet. But that same intensity can work against you. You might overreact in situations that don't require a full response. You feel everything at full volume, and that's both your superpower and your pressure point. And Luffy punching Charlos at Sabaody? Top 5 most satisfying anime moments ever. I don't take criticism on this. If your answer is Akainu, Admiral Sakazuki, then this is about more than hating a villain. This is personal. You are someone driven by loyalty and emotional attachment. Akainu didn't just kill a character, he killed Ace. He killed someone who was beloved, someone who was finally free, someone who came back to save Luffy. And he did it without hesitation, without remorse, and with complete ideological conviction that he was right. That's what makes it so unbearable. If Akainu had been chaotic or cruel for the sake of cruelty, it would almost be easier to process. But he believed he was justified. He operates by a code, absolute justice. And that makes him feel real in a way most villains don't. What this says about you: you value emotional bonds above almost everything else. Loyalty isn't just important to you, it's a core part of how you evaluate people. When someone loses in your world, you feel it. When someone you care about gets hurt, you remember it. You don't forgive easily, and you definitely don't forget. The twist is that the same depth of feeling means you can get stuck. You carry grief and grudges longer than is healthy. You replay painful moments. You let old wounds color new situations. The thing that makes you a deeply loyal person is the same thing that can hold you back from moving forward. So now that you've seen the breakdown, what's your most hated One Piece character? And more importantly, did your answer change? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if the description hit a little too close to home, that's the point. Thanks for watching, and if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe so you are there when the next bounty drops.